Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, and today we're going to do yoga for runners. So for today's class, you're gonna need a couple of blocks and a strap. If you don't have those things, you can kind of improvise, towel, shirt, whatever. But we're gonna start off on the back with just a pretty mellowed out stretch. So just on your back, join the soles of the feet together and your knees wide apart. And feel your inner legs start to stretch. Feel the stretch in your hips. Let the shoulders relax. And then direct with your breath, like pretend like you could breathe into where you feel the sensation, the stretch down in your hips. Especially the exhalation, as you exhale into there, let yourself let go of the tension. Feel more and more opening in your hips. Then stretch your arms up to the ceiling, hook your thumbs, and as you stretch down through the hips out of your lower back, as you inhale, slowly let your arms start to reach back. And just feel how when you add the arms, how it changes the sensation of stretching the hips. There's big connection of fascia from the shoulder into your hip. So when you stretch out through your shoulders, we can help the hips to open up. Bring your arms back up. Change the hands, other thumb on top. And as you inhale, slowly let the arms start to fall back. Keep your ribs pointing down towards your hips instead of letting the bottom of the rib cage tip up. And let the breath circulate evenly through the whole body. Good, then bring your arms back up, bring your knees together, that was kind of intense. And then open your arms up to the side like cactus arms. Take your feet the width of your mat, and as you inhale, let your knees swivel over to the left as you look to your right. Come back up. Change sides, let your knees swivel over to the right and look to your left. So just some pretty mellowed out stretches before we begin to open up. Then come back to center. Okay, then take your strap or shirt or towel, whatever you got, and take your right heel up in the strap. So just to be clear, these are stretches to do post-run. Take your right leg, as you take your right leg straight up, let your pelvis go into neutral so your lower back isn't flattened into the floor. You have your little neutral curve in your lower back, and the middle of your tailbone is reaching down into the floor. Then keeping your right leg straight up, slowly start to stretch your left leg out along the floor. Press through your heel, roll the inner thigh down. And you can add some movement with your ankle while you're here. You can plantar and dorsiflex your foot to kind of stretch out your calf muscle a little bit. A few breaths, let the shoulders relax. Then take your foot over to the left until it aligns with your left shoulder. Take both sides of the strap into your left hand. Now release your right hip crease down out of your back as you open up through the big toe mound. Then bring your leg back up, and that one you might feel on your outer leg and your IT band. So that's a good one. Okay, then last one, cross your right ankle just above your left knee and gently hug your left knee towards your chest. And you might feel the stretch in your piriformis, outer hip. Just breathe into the sensation of stretch. Good. Uncross your legs and change sides. Take your left leg up in the strap. Straight up. Good. Let your ankle balance right over your hip if possible. If your hamstrings are tighter, you can take the leg more forward so the leg goes straight. But let your lower back find neutral. It's the same curve you have when you're holding in Baddha Konasana, the lying down, soles of the feet together. Stretch the right leg out along the floor. And feel the tailbone lengthen out of your lower back. And just practice being in your body and watching your breath. So your body really likes that conscious presence. It will help to heal, restore, and rejuvenate. So just practice being in the body. Feeling the sensation and directing your breath to where you're feeling the stretch. Then take the leg over to the right so that the big toe aligns with your shoulder, and let the crease of your hip drop down out of your back. Open up through the big toe mound, open up through the outer knee. And as you keep dropping the tailbone down and the thigh bone down, maybe you can bring the leg a little closer towards your shoulder if you need to intensify the stretch. Then slowly bring your leg back up and release. Cross your ankle just above your knee and start to hug your knee towards you. And release. All right, roll over to your side and press yourself up to seated. Then come onto your hands and your knees. Hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Round your back and look back at your navel as you exhale. Inhale, arch your back, wheel your chest forward. 2 more times, move with your breath. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. And then come into neutral with your spine. Without your ribs twisting, stretch your left arm forward. And then slowly stretch your right leg back behind you. And just keep the foot down onto the floor. Keep the lower back long, the tailbone long through the reach of the leg. Now see if you can lift the back leg up just a little bit without your lower back sinking towards the floor. So you're working on strengthening your core as you're stretching your arm and your leg muscles. Lower your hand and your knee, and then change sides. Stretch just the right arm forward, and then slowly stretch your left leg back. Lengthen back through your leg. Keep your belly up as you raise the leg up just a little bit. But feel how your hips will want to twist, the ribs will want to twist, don't let them. Lower your hand and your knee. Now let's move with the breath. Inhale, change sides, and leg up. Exhale, back down. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, back down. One more time. And change sides. and release. All right, then let's stretch back into child's pose. So first one, curl your toes under and slowly start to set your hips back towards your heels. Now as you do that, keeping your thoracic spine, your middle upper spine long and your chest open, start to stretch your hands forward. Roll your inner arms up towards the ceiling. Biceps turn up, triceps turn down. Press down even into your hands. Then come back up onto your hands and your knees. This one is so good for the psoas. Slide your left knee up by your left thumb, and then start to wiggle your right knee back. So I find this to be a really good variation as opposed to pigeon pose because it's a little safer on your knee and your hip. And especially if you have like lower back issues at all, the torque on the front leg can be a little too much when you do the pigeon. So I like the ankle to knee pose on your back, and I like this pose a little bit better instead of doing the pigeon. But you could feel in your body what works best. So breathe right into the sensation of stretch that you're feeling in the front of your hip. Roll your chest open. That's such a good one. Okay, cool. Let's change sides now. Bring the right knee up by the right thumb, and then start to slide your left knee back. So it's kind of a twofer. You're getting a little bit of a quad stretch in the front leg, nice psoas stretch in the back leg. Just 2 more deep breaths. Breathe right into the stretch. Good. Then let's do child's pose with the toes pointed back now. So big toes pointing back. Knees about wide enough for your ribs to fit in between. Stretch the hips back onto the heels, and then slowly start to reach the arms forward. And this is where you might need a block depending on how open your shoulders are. If you can lower the head all the way to the floor without collapsing the inner arms, go ahead. But you might need this little intermediate step. Then come back up onto your hands and your knees. And let's try out down dog. This is a good stretch for your shoulders and for the backs of the legs. Now in this one, put a little bend in your knees and draw your hips up and away from your wrists. And we'll start just by pedaling the legs, which can feel really good. Nice stretch for the calf muscles. So bend the left knee and stretch the right heel. Then change legs, bend the right knee, stretch the left heel down towards the floor. Do that one more time. Good, then stretch both legs as best you can. And walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Do a little forward fold, let your head drop. And then with a little bend in your knees, roll yourself up to stand. Stand up tall, balance over your feet. Then as you inhale, raise your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into a flat back position. Bring your hands up onto your shins, little bend in the knees, lengthen. Then plant your hands down and step back. Plank pose. Lie down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra pose, stretch back through your toes, press the tops of the feet as you roll your chest open. Lower the chest back down. Come up onto your hands and your knees. And stretch back into down dog or child's pose. Then let's get back into the psoas a little bit. So step your right foot up by your right thumb and lower your back knee down onto the floor. Place your right hand onto your right knee and start to upright yourself. Reach down from your left hip, down through your shin, lift your belly and raise your arm up. Bring your hands back down and stretch back, downward dog. Change sides, step your left foot up by your left thumb. And lower your right knee down. Bring your hand onto your left knee. Slowly start to upright yourself. Stretch down through the hip, down through the shin. Lift up through the front of your pelvis and raise your arm up. Bring your hands back down. Stretch back to down dog. And then walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, make a flat back. Lengthen your spine, hands to shins, little bend in the knees maybe. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Raise your arms up. Exhale, release your arms down at your side. All right, let's come into side angle pose, extended side angle. So for this one, you might want to have a block behind your heel. That'll help you in the pose. So step your legs wide apart, turn the left leg in a little, turn the right leg out 90 degrees, bend your right knee over your ankle, and then place your hand down onto the outside of your foot, onto the block, or if you don't have a block, you could just go forearm onto your thigh. Stretch and lengthen from your back leg, from your hip down into your back heel as you lift up and grow tall through your spine. So you're strengthening your posture as you stretch your legs. Then reach your left arm all the way over your ear. Nice. Inhale, come back up. Turn your feet to the other side. Bend your knee. Tip from your pelvis out over your leg and go forearm onto thigh or place your hand down onto the outside of your heel. Stretch and lengthen through your back leg. Lengthen the inner legs. Stretch from your inner groins to your knees like the same Baddha Konasana stretch, the bound angle at the beginning. Then reach your arm all the way over your ear. Inhale, come back up. Turn your toes in so your feet are parallel. Then fold forward in between your legs. There's a big stretch here. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, walk the hands back, let your head drop. So as you're holding here, reach down into all four corners of your feet. Open up the soles of the feet, let the toes stretch. And then as you keep reaching down through the feet evenly, start to draw from your inner knees up into the hips. Like you're stretching, growing your legs longer. Inhale into a flat back. Put a little bend in your knees, then come all the way up to stand. All right, step your legs together, stand tall and mountain for a moment. Feel things balance out, even out. Let's do one more standing pose, triangle. This one is great to help to open up the pelvis and the inner legs. So turn the right leg all the way out, the left leg in a little. Then, keeping your chest open, tip from your hip side over your right leg and put your right hand onto your shin or onto the block. Now as you stretch the legs, elongate through your spine like you're pulling your chest away from your hips. And as you keep stretching through the back leg, keep rolling the right inner thigh to the outer thigh so the knee is pointing straight ahead in the direction of the big toe. Open your chest and reach your left arm up. Press through your feet and come back up. Turn the feet to the other side. Right leg turns in a little, left leg all the way out. Tip from your pelvis. Keep your spine long and your chest open as you're reaching out over your leg. So this is also teaching you healthy movements for your spine. Like when you're going to bend over, you'll be more prone to do it with your spine long. So that a lot of like the way people throw out their back or something is they like hunch over to grab something or pick something up with their back rounded. So going into the standing pose like this is just teaching you healthy habits for your spine too. Roll your chest open, turn, and take your arm up. Inhale, come back up. Turn your toes in so your feet are parallel. Then step your legs together. Stand tall and mountain. Good. Step up to the top of your mat and practice your forward fold again. Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back position. And then let's practice our squat. Malasana. So take your feet outer hips distance apart and then slowly start to lower your hips towards your heels. Turn from the inner thighs to the outer thighs, inner knees towards the outer knees. Now check it out. We got the block. If it's really difficult to drop your buns all the way towards your heels, you can kind of do this intermediate step. You could drop the block a little further. See if you can sit there. Or if it's comfortable to sit without the block, then you could, but for a runner, I feel like that's pretty rare. When I was running a ton, oh man, maybe that first block would even be intense. Okay, so press your index finger knuckles and lift up through your chest. Let the inner legs turn towards the outer legs. Then come off the block, remove it all together, lie down onto your back for final spinal twist. So take your arms out to the side and with your right ankle crossed over your left knee, slowly let your legs start to fall over to the left. And roll through the right shoulder open. Let the right shoulder head fall towards the floor. And breathe the hips out of the lower back, so you're lengthening as you're twisting. Come back to center and change the cross of the legs. So take the left ankle over the right knee, open the left arm out to the side, and slowly let your legs fall over as the left shoulder head reaches into the floor. Come back to center. Then uncross your legs and stretch them out for Shavasana, final relaxation, corpse pose. Turn your palms up, let your feet fall open, and just relax. So relax your hands and your feet. Let the muscles in your legs start to soften, your hips. Relax your abdomen, your back muscles. Relax the shoulders and the neck. Let all the muscles in your face relax. Empty the jaw, the tongue. Just practice watching the flow of your breath. Then gently bend your knees and roll over to your side. Press yourself up to seated. Join your palms together, and with your eyes closed, just take a moment to notice the shift in energy. Notice your body, how it feels, how much more open and light it feels. And just be grateful for the time that you took to practice today, for having the time and the ability to. Thank you. Namaste. All right, so thanks for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts, questions, and also subscribe to the channel. Lastly, if you have some friends that are runners that you could share the video with, I'd really appreciate that. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.